dick in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That's it. The show's over. That's all I wanted to say.
I haven't gotten there yet.
Did they copy that from God of War?
I don't know.
Well, no, if it was God of War, then it would just be things climbing out of Zeus's dick, not...
Or it'd be Kratos ripping Zeus's dick off and beating him with
it. You call this a weapon?
You call this a wang? I'm so angry all the time.
It's a good show so far. Good show.
And then
30 seconds in.
And then Zeus would turn into like a duck or a goose, and it would be all corkscrewed and weird looking.
Oh, no.
He just fucking flaps off like...
Bleeding profusely from his cloaca?
Kratos jumps up and grabs
Cloaca is
wings. Kratos grabs and just starts ripping all his feathers out, and Zeus is like, "You're a sick bastard."
I have need of father pillows.
Okay, the real question is, if Zeus loses his penis and then he turns into a bull, does he grow a new penis as a result, or does he still have the scar there? That's
I think there's
the
a chip
question
in the
for
bowl.
the ages.
Yeah.
Right at the bottom.
Although I do have to say, like, after all your other comments, Eric, like, some of them became real, so I don't know how much I want to hear this.
My power grows exponentially.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm Connor McGraw, and welcome to another After Dark edition of the Phantom Zone. We actually have some news.
Yeah.
Some trailers.
I'm Arlen Sick Boy Haro, so, yeah.
Alan?
And the draw.
Alan?
Alan.
You ever see that episode of South Park where Principal Mackey's head turns into like a balloon and he just deflates and he flies?
Yes, because that's how I described the first time I ever smoked weed.
That shot of his head turning into a balloon and then floating up is how I felt after I just watched this new Flash trailer.
Okay.
All right.
That was really unexpected. But all right.
It fits the Al brand, though.
Good
so,
Lord.
yeah.
I'm Eric Fedorchak, and I just got Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I really like the beginning of it so far.
Thanks to Alan, I just got WWE 2K19, and guess what? It's not terrible. It's actually pretty good.
This is not Connor we're talking to.
Yeah, this is a
a
robot.
Reploid.
It's okay. K. What?
Connor Borg. Oh no!
You wrote it every time I'm away. You bring the Connor bot 5000.
Another character based on Connor to add to our oeuvre.
And who else is here?
And I'm Lou Gonzalez, and I'm pretty sure I watched Aquaman already, because we watched the 2006 pilot, and I think there's a lot of similarities to this movie that's coming out.
I'm just going to bring this up before we get to it, but 5-minute trailers are going to make me basically know how your movie works from start to finish, and I'm looking at you, Batman or Superman.
That's the thing. Look at who has put out the 5-minute trailers.
Yeah, exactly. But let's not start there. Let's start at our, I suppose, a speed round.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Start with Hellboy.
Legendary
They put
as
out
fuck.
a photo.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a cool photo.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
He looks like Hellboy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does.
He
very much does.
He has long, like, samurai hair, a cigar, and the Fist of Doom. And a gun.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has the big horns for when he's being full on Hellboy before he decides to rip them off. That's the thing. I'm wondering if he's gonna have those from the beginning and get rid of them, or if it's gonna be a point like in the original Hellboy that he breaks them off again. Like, I hope they're not going to tread too much familiar ground with this one.
In the comic, does he like kind of keep them shaved down like he does in the promo movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he does.
They're always down.
I mean, I've only read the first 4 library editions, so there might be a point where he actually has them. But the only time I've seen them in the comic is when he's being shown a potential future where he becomes the Ravager, the World Destroyer.
Yeah, I just like keep regrowing then, like.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, they're like toenails or fingernails, you know, they need to be trimmed down. Yeah, that too.
Disgusting.
Well, it's really gross when he bites them off, then they're all uneven, and you get hangnails and
if he can bite the horns off at that particular angle, then there's some freaky shit going on there that I don't want to get into.
He's a spawn of hell. Of course there's going to be something freaky. He's
like, I can stretch my lips up to my forehead. and my teeth.
He just takes his teeth out and bites them off.
like a
Joker
chatterbox?
Yes.
What do you think he does with the discarded ones? Are they just like a pile?
There's a pile of horns in his room somewhere.
I would
say I mean,
he could use them as
a dog.
John Hurt uses them to fertilize his lawn.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not a fuel source for his magic time traveling car.
John Hurt walks in. He's like, "You clean this shit up, go."
Well, it won't be John Hurt. It will be Ian McShane. So
okay, that's fine. Well, no, John Hurt's still alive because he's still tormenting us over in the MDU.
Right. Yeah.
The MDU, I love it.
He just had his Cloverfield paradox. We're at Avengers 1 now.
God damn it.
That was American Werewolf in Paris. Harper looks great. I don't have any expectations for this yet because I haven't seen anything other than how he looks.
Yeah, and I mean we haven't seen anything in motion yet either.
There's the second image we've seen.
Third.
Yeah, they released like a Comic-Con thing.
Like 6 months ago or a year ago?
Who's directing this again?
The director of The Descent.
Neil Marshall.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know Neil Marshall was.
I didn't know. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he just forgot, but yes.
Didn't he also direct Didn't he do Dog Soldiers?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And
me and Eric just talked about this recently.
Yeah. And he also did Doomsday.
He did a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Didn't he also do a bunch of stuff for like specific Game of Thrones episodes?
He directed
Battle of Blackwater.
He directed the Battle of Blackwater.
Like mm-hmm.
And also the Battle for the Wall.
I believe so.
In the Battle of...
I believe he. Yeah.
Didn't he do? Wait, did he do Hard Home?
I think he might have, or he either did that, or he did that sort of Magnificent Seven episode that they kind of did, where they all go beyond the wall and fucking spoilers for Game of Thrones. One of the dragons gets fucking got. So yeah.
I think the penultimate episode of the last season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think that you could really top the Battle of Blackwater, and then Hard Home happened, and I was like, this is one of the best TV action sequences I've ever seen.
And that's when Connor told Walking Dead to fuck off for the last time.
That's when I told Walking Dead to fuck off. That's when I was like, yeah, fuck that. I'm never going back to that show.
Slightly off topic, I want to see how they handle how Rick leaves, because I just want to see if it's either wretched or okay.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that episode probably.
Well, the word is the word is that he's going to be directing episodes. So
yeah, he wants to direct
quote unquote family in Atlanta is going to be okay.
Yeah, I believe that. Again, I guarantee he's going to be in Marvel movies. Like, that's just a thing. His life at this point is probably mostly in Atlanta, so it's a really easy transition for him to go from Walking Dead to being in Marvel movies.
Well, he misses being home with his family and not stuck in the humid deep south of the United States. So I'm sure he's getting tired of that. But anyway,
I just hope when Rick dies, he yells out his son's name.
Carl. Okay. So yeah, this Hellboy thing is fine. But there's another story that is connected to this Hellboy thing that makes me not want to see it. And it's an update to our Conan story.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Bryan Singer is asking for $10 million to make Red Sonja.
Because he's worth it.
Here's the thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but were the allegations against him less serious or just as serious as the ones against Kevin Spacey?
They're just as bad. I would say.
Worse. There's a lot more drugs involved and parties,
and it's.
Yeah, and sex trafficking is a possibility.
Yeah.
in his stuff.
Yeah.
Like, the stuff that people shot a pizza fucking place over, like that kind of thing, but like actually real, not a conspiracy.
This smells like so many rats.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, beyond that too, it's also like anything involving children and an adult and a sexual situation is terrible.
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey's was the one that we heard about, and there were multiple allegations of him being a shitty, creepy guy.
Yeah.
Bryan Singer has had multiple allegations from people who were in 14, 15-year-olds at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it's been around for a while. Like I've heard about it for
and like if you Google
was when it first popped up.
If you Google Bryan Singer and click the news tab right now, like every headline is basically saying the same thing, which is like, oh, I guess like the rules don't apply to Bryan Singer.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. With the oh, go ahead, Lou.
I was just gonna say, like, it didn't apply when they gave him the Freddie Mercury movie, which he quit / fired / who knows the truth there.
Yeah, I'm still surprised that movie happened.
Yeah.
Because after a certain point, after so many allegations, and again, he's known for being an asshole on set and for not being a good enough director to justify that.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't understand how he keeps on getting work. Because it's not like the X-Men movies have made gigantic amounts of money. They do well enough for what they are. So I don't understand why there's this loyalty.
He's got pictures. He's got tickets.
There's other people at those parties.
Yeah.
Yes,
exactly.
that's most likely. I think that's how he's able to make this request with this Millennium Pictures deal, because also Millennium's kind of like I think they're a tax shelter.
I was gonna say, you said Millennium Pictures, and I was like, wait a second, I can see the logo in my head, and I think I always associated them with like bargain bin theater experiences.
Yeah, like, I mean, we said this in the chat, but like, Millennium is the people who, after Canon Films collapsed, continued working in Hollywood.
So it's a way to clean
the
coke
refuse.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the people who didn't do enough coke that they couldn't work anymore. So yeah, like it's those people, and they're responsible for movies like Olympus Has Fallen.
That's where I know them from.
What about London Has Fallen?
Dude, they are...
That as well.
If you go to their website right now, it has their boy, Gerard Butler, in a fucking submarine movie with Gary Oldman called Hunter Killer.
Sure.
Apparently it's coming out in theaters. I haven't seen a single trailer.
What the fuck, Gerard Butler? Like, what? Like, what happened?
Make a payment on a boat.
No, they probably have something on him.
No, Gerard Butler is trying to fund Scottish independence.
So
let's
probably.
Did he just learn how to read after he signed a contract? Like, is that the case? Like,
so I'm gonna ramble off.
So.
I'm gonna ramble off some titles that Millennium has been responsible for, and we can just kind of.
It's mostly bad
Let's
stuff.
gauge their reputation here. Undisputed 4, another Day of the Dead remake. It's going to be a long night with Antonio Banderas. Acts of Vengeance with Antonio Banderas. Leatherface, which is the movie that made me say the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series is dead, and I will never watch another one of these pieces of shit.
Yep.
Let's see. Is that... Oh, I thought it was I, Frankenstein. Never mind. The Mechanic. London Has Fallen. 88 Minutes. The Legend of Hercules with that one guy from Twilight who wasn't Robert Pattinson.
The big dumb guy?
Wait, yes. The Taking of Deborah Logan. That's the only great movie I've seen this list.
That is.
Wait, did they do only Undisputed 4? They didn't do the other Undisputeds?
I'm not seeing it.
Because I know what the first one is, because the first one's goddamn ridiculous.
I don't even know what those movies are.
The first one, Wesley Snipes is a professional boxer who goes to jail, and then there's like a jailhouse champion boxer who's Ving Rhames.
Other than Deborah Logan,
it's longest yard for boxing.
Okay. No, that. I don't know. That's just But the only other one on here that I'm like, oh, I've heard good things is the movie Rampart, and then that might not even be the same movie that I'm thinking of.
All three Expendables movies, Drive Angry, a bunch of Nicolas
Bernie
Cage
is a
stuff,
good film.
The Mechanic, Texas Chainsaw 3D. Oh, now we've hit the bottom of the barrel.
Wait, the Mechanic, the remake?
Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Millennium, it's a subsidiary of Lionsgate, so...
Oh, okay.
It's all the crap at Lionsgate is like, we're not putting our logo on that.
Yeah.
And we'll put our logo in the Saw movies.
It's all the stuff that Lionsgate used to put their logo on, and then they made a little bit of money, and they just said, "Forget you bitches," and made their own
like Telltale.
Wait, what?
Huh?
They actually owned a stake in. They had a stake in Telltale Games, but they.
Oh.
Yeah. This happened like a few years ago.
Huh.
Of course they did.
That panned out well.
Yeah.
Anyways, no, I'm against this Hellboy movie now because fuck Millennium, fuck them.
Well,
Fuck
I mean,
them.
Millennium
don't
is not only a tax shelter for dirty mob money, but it's also now going to be a pedophile shelter. So I can't wait for the next.
All this reminded me of...
And we're not going to talk about it for a while, but fuck Last Blood as well, because I just realized that they're producing that also.
Oh,
so yeah, like
good.
Fuck these guys.
Maybe it's more a matter of they're just like, yeah, you can put out anything you want to if you put up like 25% of the cost of the film.
Yeah, maybe. Like, I mean, like the only good thing I can get out of this is like they didn't produce that third Jeepers Creepers movie, so that's something. But still.
Oh, they released that?
No, they didn't.
Oh, okay.
This is the second one of those guys they have a connection with?
No. They don't have any connection with him. Arlen was saying it's good that they didn't.
Well, the difference between that dude and anybody else is like that guy is a convicted child molester.
Right.
And he worked with Disney. He worked with Disney.
Well, I was going to say, is the most problematic movie in the last, 10 years Superman Returns now?
No, I mean...
Starring Kevin Spacey, directed by...
Wow. Well, no, here's the thing. So those two have known each other since Usual Suspects.
Oh, so they were...
I am suddenly very, very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You're uncomfortable? Yeah. I asked Lou if he wanted to watch that for when we get to season 5 of Smallville Chronicles.
Yeah, but that's 6 years from now. So hopefully
Who's like, I'll be dead by then.
Yeah, the way things are going, the world will be or at least the United States will just be an ashen corpse.
You'll be watching and reviewing a shadow puppet theater version of it that's being set up on 2 trash cans in the middle of the American wasteland.
Well, not by me, because I will be at Ground Zero.
Yeah, by a man covered in bandages to cover up the radiation burns, because this is the only thing he knows how to do at this point.
One of his fingers falls off for the middle of the show. He's like, "Oh, that's fine."
Yeah, I'll be in the ocean summoning Leviathan to cleanse the earth.
I'll be slowly dying of radiation poisoning being in Pennsylvania.
I will have become Mad Max. So.
God damn it. Okay.
I will die instantly because I live on an island.
What? Okay.
Long Island.
I'd rather get to the next thing because I am really excited for this, thanks to Arlen.
Yeah. I think that's a good transition from us talking about a bleak future to a future that is not so bleak. There was some recent stuff about Star Trek Discovery. There was a poster which I think hints at some things about what the next season will be, and they confirmed a release date. So that's the bulk of it. But
did they
excited for it.
Cast Spock for this?
Yes,
they did, and it's some other guy whose name I don't know.
It's not
something.
No, Kinto's doing something else, like another Star Trek show.
Oh, okay.
As Spock.
Yeah,
there is a second Star Trek show in production that's connected.
Damn.
He's also doing In Search of.
Yeah, he's also doing a lot of stuff. Like he's a busy man.
Well, he has to make up for the slap.
God damn it! Damn it, Lou! This is why you're on the show.
Lou's running gag, bringing up the slap.
I actually saw someone. I think it was either a cosmonaut or somebody else on YouTube. I started watching review Hitman Agent 47, and they crucified Quinto for that movie because apparently his character is someone who has fucking metal skin.
Wait.
Well, he injects himself with the Hitman formula, doesn't he? At some point,
I don't know, but never in that universe has bulletproof skin ever been a thing.
Is that the second? Is that the second movie?
Yeah, they're not the old movie.
I mean, at the same time, in none of the Resident Evil games does a person actually inject themselves and become like Alice? Like, is that a thing?
Well, Wesker sort of.
Yeah, Wesker kind of does that.
Okay.
Like Wesker's pretty much the only character that's ever been able to do that, and he stuck around for way too fucking long, just like the Resident Evil movies did.
Well, it was basically keeping a marriage together.
Anyways, but yeah, Discovery. I'm into it. Lou recently watched it.
Yes, I watched all of Star Trek Discovery in about 3 days.
Yeah. That's how it happens. You watch Discovery and you just can't stop.
I was actually astounded by how gorgeous it is.
Yeah,
it looks better
really
than the
pretty
3 movies that came out recently at some points.
Jeez.
Like, I can't believe...
That's high praise.
Yeah, I can't believe it's like a CBS, all-access show.
My general interest in Star Trek is down, so I haven't really made a concerted effort to check this out yet.
It's both the most and least Star Trek thing you could watch.
I feel like I need to prime the pump by watching a season and a half of Next Generation.
I only need one thing.
I think
one of two things. I'll just watch either Wrath of Khan, or I will go watch First Contact, and then I will be at maximum Star Trek hype levels.
I feel like watching those before the show would actually make you...
Where's all the... Why is everyone hating on Beyond?
I did... What? Who?
Oh.
Star Trek Beyond.
Yeah.
No one mentioned Beyond.
But the show is not like any of those movies. I
know. It would just raise my interest enough to the point where I would sit there and be like, all right, I'm into this now. I
think you just need to watch one episode, the first episode, and you're gonna be like, whoa, what is going on here?
Yeah, you need to watch that 2-part pilot, and if you like that, you'll like the rest of the show.
Actually,
and if not,
like the way that they build the show, that the movie pilot is kind of you don't need to watch it, but watching it fills in so much stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's visually stunning. Doug Jones is great as always.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, Alan actually has watched the show, but I had to force him in order to actually finish it. So yeah.
Oh wow, he actually finished it. What about Daredevil season 2?
I would actually say that for a sci-fi show, I think that I like it better than Westworld.
What?
I mean, Westworld's bad, so it's not a hard thing to say.
I think it's...
Oh, you mean that show that just does nothing and leads to nothing, and at the end it's just all meaningless.
The show's great. You're wrong.
But
no, it's not.
Yeah,
I do, and I like Westworld a lot. I just think that I'm not a super big Star Trek person, but it is, like I said, it's in many ways the least Star Trek of all Star Treks, but it still feels like a Star Trek.
Yeah, that's the thing though. I think it does the things it needs to. It hits the feelings that you need, and it has.
You get the exploration, you get the science stuff, but there's not my biggest problem, especially with Next Generation, is there's so much talking and about philosophy and stuff, which you get in the show, but there's also a lot of things actually happening, and they're not on a holodeck.
Yeah, well, I mean, they wouldn't have a holodeck yet.
Yeah.
No, they play with the holodeck in the show.
No, they don't have a holodeck yet.
It's not a deck, but they play with holograms.
They play with holograms. It's not the same thing, though.
Well, I mean, I could go play the Time Traveler game from Sega that was in the arcades, and I mean that's a hologram, but that's not the same as actually having a holodeck.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that they're doing stuff with things, and they are interacting with people in a training simulation.
I see what you mean.
Okay, so it's like a proto-holodeck type of thing.
Yeah. It does take place significantly before.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
But I do think it's a separate universe.
I know
they're
confusing.
I think that's my other thing too. Is that isn't there currently several different Star Trek shows all having their own continuity kind of coming out?
No, the other show is supposed to be in the movies universe. That's why Quinto is playing Spock.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah. Because I don't see the point in that. Just cast Quinto if he's supposed to be Spock still. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a good show, and I'm excited for season 2.
Same here.
So yeah. So that's the thing.
So should we dive into the main story?
Yeah.
Lots of water
Not
fun.
a lot of other main stories this week, really, other than the Aquaman Comic-Con thing that they
Trailer.
Yeah.
Kind of
Well,
thing.
it was originally their Comic-Con reel that you see. I assume at the New York Comic-Con.
Yeah.
It's not really a trailer, so
No, it's like it's an extended sizzle reel.
Yeah.
Man, it's whatever they showed, and then they're like, it's going to get leaked, so we might as well just post it the next day.
yeah.
That's the thing. It's
same thing that they
it
did
didn't
with
get
BBS.
It was
Well, they
Well,
were
they
afraid
they
of it,
didn't
though.
give it enough time to get leaks. They're just like, let's just put it out before anything
But
happens.
all the stuff
Yeah.
always gets leaked. The Infinity
Yeah.
War stuff got leaked.
Actually, though, the Infinity War trailer, the only thing that leaked was a super low-res version of it, and even then, like, Marvel still sat on its hands for forever, and they didn't
It
release
depends.
anything.
Because I remember whenever, like, the first year Flash came out, Flash, Constantine, and another one of those shows, all their pilots all leaked online that they showed at New York.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, you know.
Yeah.
It's,
And they actually ended up firing an actress from Constantine because of the reception to the pilot.
I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
Yeah, Lucy Griffiths from Preacher.
Yep.
Which doesn't make sense to me even now, but whatever.
I know.
DC
But,
hasn't
like, I've
exactly
seen-
shown the best decision-making qualities, have they?
Like, I've seen the original
Executives.
pilot.
Am I right?
yeah.
They changed, what they ended up doing is they changed the concept from the pilot, what they were going with, to something else.
Yeah, which is fine, I guess. I don't know.
The
That
show
show
got canceled
ultimately was
anyway.
kind of mixed, so yeah.
But Aquaman, he's a guy.
Yeah, Aquaman.
Okay, I have
Okay.
all the good things I saw from this. Black Manta looks fucking awesome.
Yes,
I would
and
say-
I can't believe how faithfully they just took that silly ass bloated costume.
I like the helmet. I do not like the rest.
What do you
I don't know how to.
I don't think I had any problems with it.
His bodysuit? Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, he's like, I don't know. He has like crap. Like, I don't know how to describe it. He's got like crap on himself. It's like it's bulky and chunky.
Well, I mean, I think he's probably going to be someone who's been a circus dweller who was specially trained. So
Also,
yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
Black Manta like just a submarine on 2 feet?
Right.
yeah, pretty much.
You can
Yeah.
shoot
Since
laser
he
beams
would
out
be
of his eyes.
bulky.
Yeah.
And I mean, in the comics, I thought he was always just like in a black skin-tight suit with a
Yeah.
helmet on, which that's not visually interesting for a film.
But the
No,
suit
it's
is
not.
also like a special suit because it's, what do you call it? It's like molecularly like tight, like nothing can enter or come out. So like Mare's water telekinesis or whatever it is, she can't like pull the water out of him.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean-
like hermetically sealed inside the suit when the helmet's on.
I think that could work if they were making him the main villain in another
Yeah.
one of the
Oh, yeah, I
Aquaman
don't think-
films, but
I don't
I
think,
think-
he's not the main villain.
no, he's going to be a henchman of what, Ocean Master? Is that who
Yeah.
Night
Yes.
Owl's playing?
Yeah, he's playing Orm, the half brother.
Okay.
I
So
was so happy to see Dolph Lundgren.
that took me a second to realize it was him.
oh God, that was him.
Wait,
Yeah.
what? He's the
Yeah.
king?
No, he's
Yeah.
he's
Zebel.
He's someone Patrick Wilson was talking to in the trailer.
Okay.
Yeah.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
But I think like this trailer just basically told me how this movie's gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
it still gives me
yeah.
Green Lantern vibes with all the underwater CGI. I just get flashbacks to space.
Yeah, I can see what you mean by that, but
You mean to a
I don't
talking
know.
fish?
Yeah.
I guess I just trust James Wan a little bit more than I do Martin. What's his face?
I don't.
So-
It's not that I don't trust James Wan. I don't trust Warner Brothers at all at this point. Like,
No,
who's to
absolutely
say
not.
he made something really fucking daring and really fucking like interesting. And then Warner Bros. Came in and was like, no, get rid of this, excise this, add this, and then edit all this out, and then jack the colors way up.
Yeah.
Our focus groups tell us that like kids like bright colors and.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just take it back for a second, James Wan, other than Joss Whedon, is the most successful director that they've had coming into one of these movies. Like he has the most weight to pull around and say, "Yeah, no, fuck no." That's
I
not happening.
don't think WB cares. Like
I do
point,
though.
I have
Okay.
lost faith in this studio with this branch of movies they have because there's just a series of decisions they have made that just made me think, well, you guys don't know what the fuck you're doing and you don't really care to fix it. So
I agree
Wait.
on that end, but yeah.
Didn't Warner Brothers put out a statement that they did not want to work with auteur directors?
No, they said that they only want to work with auteur directors.
But again,
which
like,
was a big
okay, then I don't know
thing.
how to read then.
Their most successful movie, they wanted to remove the one scene that is the best scene in the movie.
Right.
The people who are running this.
Well,
I agree, but again, here's the thing: these are the people who were there when James Wan made the Conjuring movies that are currently in charge.
But do you think that they watched
other
them?
people left? Huh?
You think that they watched them, or they just watched the bank accounts?
Yeah.
I do, but I don't. Again, it's the people at New Line. To some extent, they know what they're doing, except for when it comes to Sandman, apparently. But
I think what it is that Warner Brothers sees a name that's got a lot of popularity behind it, or at least a lot of hype, be it good or bad. Like case in point, Zack Snyder, who, whether you love or hate the guy, he's definitely a name that's known. And same things with James Wan. Like, I think it's more Warner Brothers is, hey, look at that. That guy's got a name. Let's give him a movie.
Yeah, I guess.
And
I suppose.
and that would then go into the whole like, well, yeah, you might have made some movies, but we're in charge here, so you need to excise this. You need to put more talking fish in. You need to have Aquaman you need to have him drink a sea beer, like just.
And we're gonna pass your final edit off to a trailer company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And I've heard that before.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just everything I've heard about this one gives me some hope.
Well, and don't get me wrong. Like everything I've seen, including this 5-minute sizzle reel, like it looks like a lot of fun. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, it does.
I don't necessarily agree with Aquaman being such a dude, bro. Like I don't want him.
And here I said it in the chat before. The amount of effort that is required to get people like my friend Joe to stop saying the stupid ass stereotypical jokes about Aquaman and how lame he is. Yeah. Like a concerted effort from all sides needs to be put in, because if I hear one more lame ass joke about how he's useless and only talks to fish, I'm gonna punch myself in the nose.
Oh, I hate that. I actually like Aquaman as a character a lot.
Yeah.
And I was looking at
people this character saying like, no, he can fucking fist fight Superman. Like, what are you talking about?
He can
he has limited telekinesis.
He can survive at the crushing depths of the bottom of the ocean. The dude is going to be ridiculously strong. Nobody wants to play up those aspects. They're just like, oh, well, the Super Friends cartoons, you can talk to fish.
Connor,
yeah,
is this Joe? Is this the same one who is a WWE fanboy?
Yes.
Oh,
you should just smack him with fucking Flashpoint graphic novel.
It wouldn't even register that I smacked him, because that's the length he would go to not address that he's wrong.
Wait, does he own a fedora?
Okay, we're not
going to do this.
If I can interject, so Dolph Lundgren is playing King Maris, who is a character who was the man Mara's supposed to marry, and was the king of. This is getting way into its evil, which is like the outcast Atlanteans.
Yeah.
So Mara's supposed to marry him. So I don't know how he fits into this plot.
That's the issue. It's like no one knows shit about Aquaman, generally speaking. So you could really just go as fucking as zany and off the wall as you want in this film, and people could be like, "Oh, okay."
Well, it should be the Thrones underwater.
Yeah. There were some people talking in the Pixels admin chat that were saying they think a lot of this is based off the Jeff Johns run.
I don't know how, based on the casting.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never read the Jeff Johns run, but I mean that seems to be.
But I was just saying, the dude bro-ness of his character is likely. No, it's not even likely. It is like that is step one in making people step away from these dumbass assumptions.
It's not even that I dislike Jason. Is it Momoa? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Momoa.
Yes.
Yeah, I like him as an actor, but I
Right.
don't like the character he's playing Aquaman as. Like,
See, he doesn't worry me as much as there seems to be way too much shit going on in this movie. So you have Ocean Master, King Nearest, Black Manta, and then you have the Drift. I think that's what they're called. The
Something
fish
like that.
monster people.
The Trench or something like that.
They're like
Okay.
the ones that, based on this recent trailer, they look like the characters that come from like a, what do you call it, like the Marianas Trench that opens up.
The
like
Trench.
big old anglerfish.
Yes, they're like humanoid anglerfish, and they're kind of mindless. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's going. Like, there's so much going on in this.
Yeah, I don't know. Here's the thing. I think that they revealed too much plot stuff in this trailer, but I think that they kind of answered a lot of that for me. Like, the reason that those creatures are coming is because fucking Owl or whatever fuck Patrick Wilson, he's holding the wrong trident, or he's not supposed to be the rightful trident.
Yeah, well, he
I don't
has
care.
a different, in the comics, he has a different trident than
Right.
trident.
Oh, isn't it the one
Right.
that causes him extreme pain if he's not holding it? He's kind of like Corbius slave.
And it also,
Okay.
like,
Yeah, there's
he's
one.
called Ocean Master because his trident literally allows him to control, like, the water.
Okay.
So he can make, like, a giant, because his whole thing is, like, in the comics is, like, oh, when he's, like, around, his biggest threat is, like, oh, he'll just cause a giant tsunami that takes out a city on the mainland.
Well, they seem to be faithful to that part. But I think that there's enough pieces here where I've been able to sort of put together like how these things fit, and I don't think it's going to be quite as overstuffed as I was worried that it would be a couple months ago. I can see how these all fit together. That there's sort of an Indiana Jones type journey, and probably the second act. That they set up Black Manta in the beginning. The submarine stuff is probably the opening scene, kind of like
Black Manta
the
is their-
Lemurian Star.
Like, man, says they're
Yeah, he's their opening sort of thing.
But they have the Boba Fett.
I mean, yes, they do, Alan.
Technically, they have the Boba Fett.
I don't know what he's talking about.
the guy that's
Um,
playing his dad is the guy that played Boba Fett.
Oh,
Yeah.
who could care?
No,
I know,
Jango Fett.
I'm just trying to nitpick.
Not Boba Fett. Not
that
Boba
was
Fett.
that was
Jango
Jango Fett.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to nitpick because it was a really good trailer.
Remember that guy
Here's the thing,
who?
me and Alan are younger, so we care about the prequels, even though we
No,
hate
you don't.
I'm-
I saw
Why do you
episode-
think I got like,
And-
that's Darth Maul in Solo? I don't care about spoilers. Don't at me. You should have seen
No, we're
Solo by
well
now.
past that point because like Lucasfilm and Disney have released like official unblurry stills of Darth Maul at this point, and costume tests, so you get a better idea of how he looks.
We don't care anymore.
Jango is from the worst prequel, so.
I mean, yes, but he's also probably the best part of that prequel. So, yeah, and he does a pretty good job. And as far as of all the things that they did to make the original trilogy match up to the prequels when they edited it again in the 2000s, adding his voice in was a good decision, and they did it fairly well. They
I
made it
like when
feel
people got
part
mad
of
about
it.
that because they're like, the original. I'm like, do you remember what the original Boba Fett's voice sounds like? Because I don't.
Yeah, I
The
don't
original
either.
Boba Fett has like 3 lines and it's in like 6 minutes of total movie.
Yeah,
The three of them.
I'm pretty sure he just says he's no good to me, dead.
In the same way, I don't
Yeah.
mind that they replaced Darth Sidious' eyes, which were originally like a chimpanzee's eyes.
Oh,
my
God, yeah, they did.
the fucking the hologram.
Yeah.
Yeah, originally
that's-
he showed up and it was a chimp.
That's
Yeah.
fine because like the first like their idea of doing makeup on That wasn't even Ian McDermott, I don't think.
No, it wasn't. It was a woman, and she was doing the mouth. Yeah, she was doing like and then they had somebody. Then Ian came in and did the voice over her. No, he didn't even do the voice. He wasn't hired till the third movie.
Yeah, the makeup for the Emperor and Empire originally, he just looked like a dude with lumps of clay on his face. It looks terrible.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't even makeup. It was like it was not Photoshop. It was like they like cut the footage. They cut the stills together.
Oh, they did what they did with Bruce Lee in last movie.
Yeah, they like composited an image from Chimp Eyes. This other woman doing the words. No, like they were literally chimpanzee.
Oh wow, they had no idea what he was going to look like.
She's got chimpanzee eyes.
And then later on, he had a forehead that looked a baboon butt.
Yeah, they just wanted him to look as like as human, but also unhuman as possible. So that's the conclusion that they came to.
I just like that. Go ahead.
I was just saying, he looks a lot like Gary Oldman's Dracula. Is what I always think of.
Yes, I would say I love by Revenge of the Sith when you get to see that happen. I'm like, his forehead formed right into a butt. It's just this big old crack like right in the middle of his forehead. I love the logistics of that too, because it's like force lightning turns you ugly.
It didn't turn Luke ugly.
It didn't do shit to anybody else.
No, that was the car wreck.
Oh.
Yeah.
But anyway, to get back to the original part, they were actually good at like doing those kind of cool retcons, because I do love the fact that the character from Clone Wars and Rebels has now been added officially as the old guy in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, Saw Gerrera. Yeah.
No, Rex.
Yeah.
Rex.
Oh yeah, that too. But also Saw, because he was in Clone Wars.
Yeah, Saw Gerrera was in. So in Clone Wars, he's like 19 or 20-ish age. Him and his sister. Yeah. And then he shows up in Rebels in like his 30s or 40s.
Oh, child! Get out of the hole, child!
Save the come to kill me.
He does the voice in Rebels.
Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Holy
Rebels
shit. I have given Rebels a try. I just can't get into it because I don't feel it feels like too much for children. I'm like, there's no peril here.
No,
like
it's not meant for children at all.
No, the reason it looks the way it looks is Ralph McQuarrie.
No, it's based on old art, but I don't find any excitement in that show at all.
Yeah.
The only time I got hyped was when I watched Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh my god.
That's the proper way to handle how you write off Darth Maul, which is to get like beaten in a quarter of a second.
Well, most of
he's like, I've been switching. Oh, I lost.
Yeah. Well, most of his plot that connects to the Solo movie all happens in Clone Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Alan, you saw the picture.
Yes.
Lord Vader, do you have any bananas?
That's where we meet the worst named Star Wars character ever, which is Savage Opress.
Oh, but he's so goddamn awesome.
I really wish Hunter, because he really hates that guy.
I know.
All right. I think we're way off topic at the moment.
AQUA. I can transition into one of the other topics.
I don't really have much else to say on Aquaman at this point because I'm trying not to. Here's the thing: like after BVS, my soul was splintered.
I mean, yeah.
And after Justice League, especially, I was like, "This, you guys just don't fucking know what you're doing," and I'm not gonna bother to really get excited for these things until I know for certain that I'm not gonna have a terrible time watching them.
Yeah, I understand.
It's like at the very least, from what I hear about Venom, is that it's a ridiculous good time because the movie's just fucking wacky.
Yeah,
and it's bad, but I hear it's bad in ways that make it very endearing.
Like Catwoman bad.
Yeah, like Ghost Rider, like 2000.
That's what I'm hearing. Well, I'm hearing more comparisons to the Spirit of Vengeance.
Yeah, well, the one guy said it was like X-Men Origins. I was like, the Wolverine one? I was like, that's not a good thing.
That's not good at all.
And I was like,
unless the first 10 minutes are great, which, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, it has good actors, and it's like a garbage script.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe.
it's like what we've talked about before with everybody but Marvel, unfortunately, is they get the money and they hire all the actors they can, and then they're like, oh, God, we don't have anything left to write a script. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And also they get, like, the corporate gets, like, way too involved.
Yeah.
Because if they cut out 40 minutes, like...
I like how within days they were like, there's no other cut of Venom. What you're seeing is the final cut. And then Tom Hardy's like, yeah, they chopped 40 minutes out of it. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Well,
Tom Hardy gives no fucks.
2 days before the movie comes out, Tom Hardy, oh yeah, they cut out 40 minutes.
And they were his favorite. Michelle Williams is like, I wanted a paycheck.
Yeah.
Well, she said it much more elegantly than that. But yes,
she's like, I wanted my kid's college tuition.
Yeah, exactly.
She was like, I want to be able to retire someday. It was. I loved it personally.
The last movie I was in was with Kevin Spacey, and they had to cut him out.
She described it. Yeah. She described it the way someone would describe a regrettable one-night stand that, like, they did just to do it because they were in the moment, and then later on they were like, I mean, it wasn't a great idea, but I had fun.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't know if I made this clear. Like, I still think that was her, like, kind of shitting on the people that got all angry over the Mark Wahlberg situation. Like, very angry on her behalf. Like, hey, my finances are fine, and I handle them, and you don't need to worry about it, and mind your own fucking business.
I don't know, though. The way she worded it, though, it basically sounded like she's saying, I did it for the money. Like, when she, saying when she was younger, she just kind of did whatever and didn't think about the future, and then was like, but as I've gotten older and I want to make sure my family's secure and college tuition and all that, that is saying I did this for the money.
Right. Yeah, but again, like, we didn't hear the interview, but I feel like there might have been a tinge of like, so stop fucking making stories about it.
It can be both. It can't.
I think it might be. Yeah.
She was like, stop complaining.
Well, I think she was sincere, but I think the way she said it might have been like, stop fucking making stories about how I didn't get paid enough for another movie. That's not your business. This is my life here. So
I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see.
Regardless.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's next?
Yeah, I don't know. What was it?
Do you want me to compare the Aquaman movie to the pilot that we saw?
Okay. No, okay. We do need to answer this. Okay, please explain as eloquently as possible.
All right.
How the pilot to a show in any way informs a movie that was just made.
I'm just saying the plots seem very similar. Yes, they're both the exact same character. But they both also
I was going to say that.
Yes. So, but there's also crazy fish monster that comes to attack him. That's sent there by the now ruling class of Atlantis. That he has, and that the older protector that got him and his mother out is there to provide him wisdom and the training and how to use his abilities. He also has like secret artifacts to Atlantis. And there are people hunting him. And there's just like, there are a lot of basic, like, similar ideas, but the fact that Willem Dafoe's character and Ving Rhames' character seem like they're the exact same person, except one is an older black man and the other one is Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
And they both had like almost the exact same design fish monster, except one is obviously 2018 CGI and one is 2006.
Yeah. Well, I'll bring up a few arguments at least for that. Is one, it's taking place in a fantastical world underwater, so of course there's going to be giant fish monsters of some sort, be they crabs or whatever.
But
so that
the design is like,
a giant crab is an interesting.
No, I was talking about the anglerfish looking thing.
Oh,
here's the thing,
those guys.
Here's the thing: you have to go to the comic book then.
Yeah,
like that's. Yeah, those characters are in the comic book, so you have to like, okay, so the comic book was clearly taking some inspiration from that show, which is surprising. I'm guessing Jeff Johns was probably involved with that show in some way.
Most likely.
So yeah,
that and having ancient artifact that they're trying to find. Once again, it's Atlantis, which has been the idea / fiction that a lot of people have been chasing after for years. So of course they're going to like the idea of ancient Atlantean artifact.
You forgot what shows that a person is from Atlantis?
The glowing seahorse necklace.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that is the thing.
Okay.
Well, I was
didn't
gonna
see
chime
that
in
in the
and say
trailers
like
anywhere, but
I think we've learned from various sources that like especially Warner Brothers, they held on to all their ideas for Superman for God knows how long. And Sony has had a death grip on their plans for all these silly Spider-Man spin-offs for like a decade. It wouldn't really shock me if stuff left over from this pilot was just dragged over for the next big project.
And like
also,
I obviously like I'm being facetious in a lot of ways, but
there
are, if you watch it, like the only reason I really think that show didn't get picked up is because it cost, like just watching it for the time, it cost so much money. So like if there were script ideas that were going forward, I could easily see like you were just saying, Connor, them kind of being carried along for forever. There's just a lot of things watching that pilot that I'm like, I bet I'm going to see, better looking versions of this idea in this movie.
Because this pilot was 2006, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they were in the middle of Smallville, and they were and CW didn't exist yet, but it was announced, like that was going to happen.
This is like a year or two before Superman Returns comes out.
Yeah. So that's why it didn't get picked up. They didn't have money because Smallville was running, and they were about to move a lot of their production that wasn't in Canada to Canada.
This show was not filmed in Canada. It was filmed in Miami.
Yeah. So that's why they couldn't do it.
Also, there's technically a Phantom Zone connection between the Aquaman Chronicles or the art that Lou showed me. The actor who arrests Justin Arthur in the beginning.
Yeah.
He was the guy being led into the rave in the first Blade movie.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It was mostly a joke thing, but the idea that like there's so much similarities that I'm I just like compared to the other movie Warner Brothers has coming out in Shazam, like I just don't care about this movie at all.
That's a take to have from someone who hasn't seen the Conjuring movies still. So,
It's not about I get all the things you said. It's just like it just doesn't I like Aquaman. It just seems so. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is Warner Brothers' fault. I want to be happy. I'm a DC fan.
Yeah.
I mean, same. So yeah.
I think we all agree that we want these movies to be good.
These movies being bad is exhausting. I'm so over it.
Yeah, it is.
That is the perfect word to describe it. Exhausting.
Yeah, it's tiresome.
All right. What were we doing? So the directors of Starry Eyes put out pics from their Pet Cemetery remake that they're working on.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to take a look at these. Like, is it anything of real note, or is it just spooky, scary stuff?
All I saw was a wet cat.
Yeah, that's
this
the only
is a
one I
chance
saw.
to talk about Stephen King stuff. So.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'll be curious to see how they adapt it because I mean, from having only read Pet Sematary maybe twice in my entire life, like I thought the original movie wasn't a horrible adaptation of it. I mean, it was definitely lower budget and I don't know.
It's on that one character. Let's go up to the road over there.
My favorite impression of all time. I'll go down that route. That route lays it down.
I really. God damn it.
Don't do it.
You bury something there, it comes back different.
It comes back not right.
God damn it. I really wouldn't be excited at all. In fact, I really am not excited. I'm just like curious again because it is the guys from Starry Eyes. So like, it's cool that they're doing another thing.
It is.
If that character isn't in there, I will not watch it.
I feel like there's so many other Stephen King things that could be adapted that are as creepy, if not more so. Why are they remaking something? Like, I understand it was a remake and it did really well, but
There's also
that these guys personally liked this story specifically.
Yeah.
There's also the show on Hulu that's
something.
doing a bunch of the stuff, kind of.
But that's adapting more of his more recent short stories from little bits I could see, like, or at least.
I haven't watched it. I heard like Christine, like the actual car is in the show, and.
Kind of.
Yeah, I haven't watched it, so I only know what I've heard.
Yeah. It's a. We should all watch. We should all watch Castle Rock and then have a conversation about it because, I don't know, but yeah, I'll put the pictures in the main chat in case you guys want to see them. But John Lithgow is playing the Fred Gwynn character.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
I mean,
So he's got to do the voice.
John Lithgow's fucking great, so that's something.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll give Lithgow a watch anytime. So yeah. I'll give it a try. Why not?
I don't know. Starry Eyes is like a fucking great movie, so go see that.
Yeah, I'm gonna chime in with that. Starry Eyes is one of the best independent horror films I've seen in recent memory. It's really fucking good, and it goes places you won't really see coming.
Is it a super gory film? I mean, I ask only.
I mean,
because...
it's got some gore, but it's not a splatter film.
Okay.
It's not focused on that, but like there's one kill that still shocks me every single time I see it.
Okay. I only ask because my wife isn't a huge fan of that stuff, but she likes watching horror movies in October. So
I will say this: the end of that movie is worth every second of the journey because I stood up and put my hands in my head and said, "What the fuck?"
Okay.
Yeah, it goes.
It's really, really good.
It's
about a girl who basically is willing to do anything to become a successill Hollywood star, and that's about as much as I'm willing to say because it goes down some dark roads.
Okay, no, I have heard about this, and I know it's on either Netflix or Shudder, one of the two.
It's on Shudder.
It is on
Okay,
Shudder. Yeah.
Cool. Well, then I think I know what I'm watching tomorrow.
Yeah, but there's some stuff to do with like resurrection and things like that.
Interesting.
Some spooky stuff and seances and things of that nature. So I think they're a good fit for Pet Sematary, I would say.
And the guy that's the star, it's the guy from that really bad Terminator movie, right?
Yes, it is. I hate that that's what everybody's going to go to when they reference him, but yes, Jason Clarke.
Well, his face is featured so heavily in those trailers.
Oh,
I know,
yeah, and they also kind of ruined the movie in the trailers, too. So, yeah.
Well, they ruined a lot of things.
Let's be honest, they ruined nothing.
Are they making another one?
Yeah, but it's
a reboot, but still with Schwarzenegger?
It's another attempt at rebooting, directed by Tim Miller, which... That's a good thing.
Okay. I feel like I heard that the next one is supposed to ignore everything after 2.
They all do because they're all in a different timeline, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
they're all. It's a time travel story. So
it's a time travel story that doesn't even like to follow its own rules.
No, because again,
I don't mind.
Technically, every movie takes place in a different timeline.
Yeah.
Because they
Terminator
change time.
3 is a world in which the first 2 movies happened, so the timeline has been skewed twice.
Yeah, they're all tangent universes.
I'm also going to come out and say that I don't think Terminator Salvation is as bad as I remember it to be.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I actually don't hate that.
I think that there's some cool shit in that movie, and I like the concept of Sam Worthington's character of a Terminator who is convinced he's a human. He's
literally he's a Dragon Ball Z character. He's the androids.
Yeah.
Well, the thing I had originally read about Salvation was that the way they wanted to end it was that John Connor got turned into a Terminator of the same type.
Wow.
He kills everybody.
Wow.
He's supposed to basically take... Okay, so how it was supposed to work is that he was supposed to take that wound towards the end, to the heart, and basically, quote-unquote, die. And then they bring him back to the Resistance base, and he's basically Undertaker sits up on the operating table, just pops everybody in the room, and then his face basically peels off to reveal Terminator eyes.
So how long had he been a Terminator?
We talked about Sony not letting go of ideas, but
yeah.
So is the baby inside Bryce Dallas Howard the Terminator's baby?
I don't know. I think part of the problem was, it's like committing to that idea required too much backpedaling and too much like, well, when did this happen? So they just didn't do it.
So they just saved it for the next one.
Exactly. They ditched it and then made an entire movie around one alternate ending. 28 days later.
In the trailer.
Yeah, 28 Days Later had a similar situation because the original ending had everybody going off to some like fucking abandoned hospital that had one guy holed up in there, and he had the cure, but the cure was a complete blood transfusion, a blood transplant, which is not possible.
Yeah, because you're dead.
You can't just swipe out. I'll take new blood, please. And the original ending was that because they didn't have a willing host to cure What's-Her-Face's dad, Jim is the one who basically steps up to do it. And I think the last shot of the movie was supposed to be him strapped to a table, like writhing uncontrollably because he's now one of the infected and everybody leaves.
Well, that and then the TV screens that you saw in the beginning of the movie start turning on while he's on the table in the lab. Yeah, and it was something that was on the disc, but they only had
they had animatics for it. They didn't have they
didn't have actual filming for it.
TV screens turning on implies what?
Nothing. It was just a dramatic cue to just have all the things that you were seeing in the beginning of the movie, like all the horrific like riots and all that whatnot, and while he's raging, all that stuff would start showing up on the screens in front of him.
Because my favorite part of the entire movie is when the plane goes over and it's like, oh yeah, if this happened, the world's just like, fuck England. Quarantine that shit.
Well,
I mean, yeah.
If you ignore the events of the second movie, yes, that is what happened.
Yeah.
That's what I do because it's bad.
No, it isn't.
It's not that bad.
No,
It's fine.
No, the second movie is great.
It does things for like shock value that I just don't care about.
Okay, I don't agree at all.
I don't know.
I think the way that they use Jeremy Renner's character is excellent.
Oh no, I wasn't talking about that. Like with the woman at the end and like I don't know why, but I have a tendency to be annoyed when it's like two kids are in a movie where it's a disaster and they somehow nothing happens to them. Like they're the dumbest and weakest characters. They should die very fast.
I don't disagree. The ending should have been they died and then everything's bad. But like, yeah, because it doesn't fit with the rest of the movie. Where like, again, okay, spoilers. Fucking Jeremy Renner gets set on fire.
Yeah.
Like, no, that is a crazy goddamn scene. That's probably the best scene in the whole movie.
That movie does a lot of really strong shit. Like, there's a lot of really strong ideas in that movie that you wouldn't expect from the sequel to 28 Days.
No, I like that.
Like, you would expect a very calm, very, like, oh, it's just them fighting zombies, and at the end, everybody's a hero. But they didn't do that. Like, fucking Robert Carlyle takes his own wife's eyes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Well, that's what, I like the idea of a carrier. Like, that's a cool concept.
Yeah, it's the Typhoid Mary type of idea.
Yeah. Anyways,
but the character from a show that we haven't done a second episode for.
So Pet Cemetery, it's happening.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of things that just won't die,
I'm excited for this, and that was a good joke.
Star Wars released some photos.
Here's a quarter. Go buy yourself a Star Wars.
Yeah, the Star Wars. But yeah, Johnny Favorino, whatever.
The guy who created the MCU.
Johnny Fav.
Essentially, yeah.
I don't know.
What are you, his fucking roommate? Like,
I'm on cold meds right now. Leave me alone.
Okay, everything that man has
me my boy, Johnny Favs.
Yeah, he created the whole live action thing Disney's doing. He started the whole MCU.
Yeah, he's kind of the progenitor of their new streaming service.
He's the trailblazer.
Yeah, and he's producing the show they announced what it's called. It's The Mandalorian.
See, that alone has my interest piqued because for years I've been saying, like, just do Star Wars divorced from the Skywalker saga.
Yes.
Do it, because that universe is full of some cool shit.
Go ahead, Lou.
I was gonna say if you Rebels is.
Well, Rebels is still swept up in the whole galactic, Empire versus the Rebels and fucking lightsabers.
Well,
and the fullest, I want to focus on stuff that has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, this is supposed to take place before the rise of the First Order, but after the original trilogy, which is a perfect place to have things set.
Well, my comment is that in both Clone Wars, the final season, and in Rebels, we see what's left of Mandalore and the Mandalorians.
I know, but to be perfectly honest, I feel like the cartoons are a very special place for people who are super into the lore of Star Wars, and something like this is going to appeal to the more mainstream audience.
I don't hate lip service because they're pretty good at that.
Yeah.
Again, like having a ship from Rebels in the background of Rogue One and things like that, and so
if I'm not mistaken, it's set 9 years after Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
I think so. They did say something about that, but that's not really the stuff that excites me. The stuff that was exciting was the directors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deborah Chow from Jessica Jones. I was gonna look up the specific episodes, but I'll do that now just in case anybody's curious. Rick Famuyiwa, director of Dope.
The biggest one though is
I'm saving him for later.
Okay.
But yes.
Okay. Yeah.
But Bryce Dallas Howard, which is the strangest one.
Yeah.
My only thought in this that, and again, I'm going to go back to those cartoons. They brought up in Rebels one of the most interesting ideas in the Mandalorian culture, which is there's only ever been one Mandalorian Jedi, and he has a special saber, and whoever holds that saber is like their de facto leader, like kind of King Arthur style.
Okay.
And it's also a badass saber because it's black. And it's not like a regular lightsaber, it's more like a katana. And there is a lot of like kind of almost like a religious, but like they kind of paint in those shows, if you didn't read the comics or read the books, it's a good way to kind of get more into their culture. Because they show that there's different clans within each group, and the clans look different.
Clan Ordo!
Yeah.
So I wonder how much of like the character from Rebels is a very popular character, Sabine, who's the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So not that she would be the main character, but I wonder how much of what they saw, because it's a very adult show, that cartoon.
There was a brief description that Jon Favreau had put out on his Twitter. I forget exactly what it was, but it was a gun for hire Mandalorian out there. So it's not going to be that.
Like
no.
It sounds like a fistful full of dollars. That's what it sounds like to me. Which
that sounds familiar.
But yeah, fucking again. Okay, so Taika Waititi is also directing. Him and Dave Filoni. Those are really the two big deal names as far as I'm concerned, because Filoni being the pilot director and being one of the producers tells me a lot of the stuff from Rebels will show up. There's going to be some fairly strong integration between the two things. So yeah, I can definitely see that. And then Waititi he's going to do crazy shit with his episodes, and
I'm amazed they got him on board for it. I mean, it's awesome, but that
must be a Star Wars though. Like if you grew up watching it and you're like, do you want to do something Star Wars? Fuck yeah, let's do it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, and I don't know where the show's shooting.
Yeah.
But if it's shooting in New Zealand, that's probably
that makes
why.
Sense. Yeah.
I mean, if we go purely based off of Jango Fett and Boba Fett, Mandalorians, or at least wherever Mandaloria, I don't know, wherever they are based in. For Mandalore, presumably they are the New Zealand equivalent.
No, they are. Each clan is like different kind of race.
No, but you know what I mean.
We're going strictly movies, like none of.
Yes,
I'm only saying because like
the actor who plays Jango Fett is native New Zealand. That's what I'm saying.
He's Maori.
So is Taika Waititi.
Yes.
Do you get what I'm? Do you get where I'm going here?
Yes.
So like, there's something interesting about that. I guess I don't know. So yeah, that's
yeah. No, I mean it's. I'm kind of excited to see how this is because I mean they're putting a huge amount of money into this if I remember correctly.
Well,
they are.
It's Star Wars and Mandalorians are like the number 2 thing people want.
Yeah. I mean, just by hiring Jon Favreau, they're putting a lot of money into this.
Well, he makes them a lot of money, so yeah, I can understand why. And he's, as Lou pointed out, like he's the one who basically kickstarted the MCU for them. So
they also need a reason for people to subscribe to the service.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is their Boardwalk Empire, I would say.
Yes.
Like, Jon Favreau is sort of the Scorsese here, and then all the other producers are sort of the people who do the groundwork and are really there week to week.
Thanks, Arlen. Now we want Michael Shannon to show up.
I mean, we always want Michael Shannon to show
anywhere.
up.
What the hell?
Is someone recording in a bar?
No, roommates. Because, yeah. Anyways, I don't know. I'm excited for The Mandalorian. I was way more excited than I was before because they just said, all they said was Jon Favreau's doing a show, and I was like, okay, I'm not on they're hiring too many white people train usually, but now I am because they announced a whole show. So I'm excited
like
for
producing
this.
it, like you said, like look at all the directors.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the thing. They've announced enough directors for me to be like, okay, I'm very into this. Very into this. So yeah. All right. Any other last things, I guess, on The Mandalorian before we go to another topic? Or...
The only last thing I'll say, because like you said, the Rebels time, where they leave off, if you're never going to see Rebels, they leave off where they're basically, the Mandalorians are basically have been hunted almost extinction. There's very small amount left because they're one of the groups that the Empire feared just below the Jedi.
So they're like the proto-Jedis?
No, they show a lot of like they developed anti-Jedi weaponry.
Okay.
So the Empire fears them because all their stuff is based on the Mandalorians. Like the Stormtrooper armor and all that is like kind of a variant on their armor. So they the Empire kind of co-opted a lot of their stuff. So they fear the Mandalorian culture, though.
So it's like the English just adapting a bunch of Welsh weaponry to fight off the French.
The Mandalorians are basically the Mongolians. So they would conquer, adapt, and assimilate.
My final thoughts are I can't wait for Star Wars fans to hate it and drive someone off social media.
Well, here's the thing, though. They won't be able, unless they're not going to pay for it, so they won't be able to be angry about it. So, yeah.
Man, somebody's really excited about it, too.
Oh, God. Is the fucking green room happening over there?
I'm going to murder somebody.
Sounds like a horror movie.
I'm going to...
Just waiting for a good shot.
Okay. Again, last stuff about Star Wars, I guess.
Yeah. Nothing else.
I'm done.
Yeah. Okay.
Netflix and Narnia.
I really. The pun was there, so yeah, Netflix, Narnia, whatever. So I'm not.
Netflix.
Narnia's been further removed.
There's a pun there that somebody can make, but like I'm too tired and sick.
All I can think,
I'm gonna fucking murder somebody.
All I can think of is now the Chronicles of Narnia. Like,
but yeah, I don't know. Like, I stopped watching the Narnia movies after the second one.
Well, Prince
further than I made it.
Prince Caspian is Jigsaw.
Yeah, yeah, he is.
That series had such great premise. Like I read the books when I was much younger, but they tried to strike while people were still obsessed with Lord of the Rings, and that just
it's Lord of the Rings with like
overt Christian.
Yes, I was gonna say with the most unsubtle Christian
metaphors ever.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know, and apparently it seems like it's gonna be treading over the same ground again.
Wasn't McAvoy like the goofy pan?
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
he was.
fucking murder somebody.
He was.
That first
Yeah.
movie does have like a crazy kind of cast.
Yeah, it's the first one I remember kind of enjoying. Like
It's
there-
like there are parts that are absolutely gorgeous. Like Tilda Swinton is.
she looks amazing.
I was gonna say I like 1 and 2 just fine. I just had no interest after that.
Well, yeah, because they seem to get goofier somehow, which
But
I
also
didn't
the
think was
market
possible.
got flooded with those movies because it was like those movies.
Yeah, and like to an outsider, like that's no different from like the fucking Mortal Instruments.
Yeah.
Right. Like after Harry Potter went away, the movies that were trying to fill Harry Potter's spot just like exploded.
That and they skip 1 or 2 of the books and just jump.
Well, all
to
the
Prince
thing
Arthur?
is-
Okay, they were releasing them in the order of which they were published, and not in chronological order. I think is what it
And
is.
also, they took way too long to film them, so the kids aged out by the second movie.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
I think the problem is they tried to like kind of fit a square peg into a round hole in regards to treating them as if they're happening chronologically.
Also, those books aren't strictly like connected to one another. Like in some of these cases, it would be like if you went straight from Empire Strikes Back to not Return of the Last Jedi. Like it would be like that. It would be that like disjointed and weird, or going right to Force Awakens.
Yeah. If you like Chronicles of
Even Caspian, which I like those kids go back and they're like, oh yeah, there's an army of Spaniards in armor and they've taken over and everyone's dead.
That was cool though.
It's a lot to take in, but I fucking love Prince Caspian. That movie had a climax where I'm like, is this like a Lord of the Rings-esque battle? Oh my god, tree roots are actually like swallowing people.
Yeah, it's kind of metal. Well, yeah, because C.S. Lewis and Tolkien were like best friends. Like, fucking,
this one was way more Christian than the other.
Yeah.
I just remember all that came to my mind wasn't there one of these garbage movies that had Robert De Niro in it?
No. I'm
sorry, I won't bring up. I think it was called Golden Compass. I'll never talk about it.
Well, there's Golden Compass, and then there's
No, Robert De Niro's in Stardust.
Yeah,
Stardust.
Which is,
oh my god.
Yeah,
Which is
no,
based on a Neil Gaiman story, if I remember correctly.
Yes. I think
Yeah.
he made take his name off of it.
Yeah,
and it has Daredevil in
that's
it.
the same director as First Class, also, which is fucking weird.
I don't hate Stardust. I enjoyed it when I saw it.
Is that the one with the polar bear?
That's Golden.
No.
No, Golden Compass is the polar bear.
Which is there was supposed to be a series of those movies and never happened.
Yeah. Just like what was the dragon one? Aragon.
Well, that was also written by like an 18-year-old who it was later found was kind of a fraud, if I remember correctly.
Something like that. Well, like he kind of ripped off, I guess, an older fantasy series, which I'm not that surprised. But
So it's like Gene Simmons' son.
Yeah,
Also,
oh,
I mean,
that kid.
Those books were impressive because he was 18 years old. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why people read them.
Like I don't hate
particularly
Aragon.
good.
Aragon could easily be like a sequel to Dungeons and Dragons.
I mean, it could be. And if you haven't read those books or you don't know anything about them, they're literally Star Wars, like
Except
beat for beat.
medieval. Yeah.
And with dragons.
Yeah.
Man, you had to open that wound, didn't you?
Oh, I did it on purpose. That's another movie that came out in the same time period.
We did come to the conclusion though that Dungeons and Dragons is a better film than Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Yeah.
Well,
Most movies are a better film than Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Which, by the way, for anyone interested in that episode, it's not coming out until the end of until after October because we're doing all of Trick or Trash first.
Because they replaced oh my god, what's his name in the first? Christopher Lambert with what's his name from Black Lightning.
Yes, James Remar, and they replaced Johnny Cage so that he could be killed in 90 seconds.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I the only one that's concerned for Arlen right now?
I'm concerned for me right now because I'm gonna be in fucking prison next week. And
Sounds like the
murdering
ATF is
somebody.
renting the compound that you're living in.
Okay, that's just okay. Here's the thing. Netflix doing Narnia could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. I don't think they actually announced who was going to be producing it. So if they get a good showrunner, I'll be into it. I don't know. Like, they did Series of Unfortunate Events. I didn't like the second season because I didn't finish it, but that first season was really good. So, like, there's something there. They could make something good out of it, or it could be really bad.
Isn't this just their counter move to Amazon having Lord of the Rings?
I mean, yeah. But, like,
In the post-Game of Thrones world?
Well, no. Netflix answer to people getting, like, high-concept fantasy shows is The Witcher.
Yeah.
Which is
that's the adult version.
Yeah.
That's the Game of
Thrones.
Thrones
This is just Netflix
answer.
loading their coffers. This is just like Netflix is just like shove it in there.
Yeah, this is Netflix knowing Disney's pulling everything they own out in like 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, you guys had this for a while. We're gonna see if we can do it better, just to spite you, because Netflix is petty. So yeah, I don't know.
I just find it hilarious that Warner Brothers lost their Superman to Netflix.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, last thoughts on Narnia before we go on and finish this up.
We'll see.
All right.
I wonder if they can get Liam Neeson back.
That would be
so he can go.
Here's the thing. That'd be interesting.
Like, why not?
I have a very particular set of paws.
I made the day in like 5 seconds or whatever.
It's like when you need
That's a
me, I
reference
will
to the
be there.
Magician's Compass or Magician's Apprentice, whatever. No, for those who don't know, there was a book that was written like way after the other Narnia books that is the origin story for Narnia that sets up the White Witch.
I remember hearing about this years ago, but I don't remember what it is.
Basically, these kids find a gateway to all these doors to these other alternate dimensions, and one of the doors that they go through leads them to the White Witch.
Oh, so it's the ending of BioShock Infinite.
Yeah. I'm gonna fucking murder somebody. I'm gonna fucking kill someone.
I just feel like we have fans and they're excited about what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's like having a live audience.
Okay, but they go through one door and they come to Narnia, and it's like at the moment of creation. Like they were there at the moment where Aslan is creating everything and building the entire universe.
Wait, you're saying
White Witch follows them?
Dr. Manhattan?
Basically, yes. Yeah. Like, if it wasn't clear enough in the books that Aslan is God, they make it very clear that he is God in that.
I just want to say, like, if you like those things, there's a much better show already in, like, the 4th season, and it's Magicians, and it's actually on Sci-Fi.
I've heard that show is not terrible.
It is.
I've heard that as well.
It is for Sci-Fi Channel. It is really good.
It's got swearing
I've
rabbits.
heard Sci-Fi in general is producing a lot of good stuff. It's just like
they canceled too quick.
nobody's
That's
watching
problem.
it.
They make great shows, and then they cancel them. And this is the one show that's actually entering, like, the 5th season.
Yeah, like I
Somebody's
tried watching The
asleep at the wheel.
Expanse.
And if you watch it on demand, they actually leave in all the cursing and stuff.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay,
let's go to Last Blood. I don't care about this movie now because it's Millennium. Fuck them. But those pictures are fine.
A cowboy?
Because
he went back to his ranch after he killed all those Asian people in Burma.
Yeah, and he did. So here's the thing: if you go into his lore and his backstory, he's like a country boy. And he's also part Native American, so he has a ranch, and he's like from the Midwest or whatever. So him being a cowboy isn't like completely crazy.
No, literally, the last movie ends with him going back home.
No, I
to the
remember
ranch.
that. I remember that much, but that's
a weird
bit of
choice.
Jump.
Yeah, like,
it's a weird choice.
My question is like, he's in Burma. I can understand why he kills like 500 people. Mm-hmm. How is he going to kill 500 people when he's in Nebraska or wherever the hell he is?
Well, no, I guess he's in Arizona.
And that is not where he was from. I thought he was from like the Louisiana, Alabama area.
See, it would,
okay.
If they would retcon it to like Montana, I could understand how you could get away with killing hundreds of people because it's Montana. Like, I mean. But
I'm laughing so hard because I'm from this area and I hate Montanans.
I'm just imagining because it's wide open space and like you don't see your neighbor except for maybe once a year. So
yeah,
I was thinking it'd be more interesting if he went to war with like grizzly bears.
Well, and you would also have all
here's
the
thing.
preppers out in Montana too. So
the original version of this movie, he was hunting Bigfoot.
yeah,
Actually, that would tell me I want that.
Nope. Rambo needs to die. This series needs to go away.
I want him. Rambo versus Bigfoot.
Well,
Give it
the
to
thing,
me.
every single movie, I believe he keeps wanting to kill Rambo, and then the studio's like, "You can do this, but you can't kill Rambo."
Here's my thing. Like, why would you go back, after the last Rambo movie and decide that you need to revisit as well? Because I think that's probably the best this series is going to get.
Yep.
Because he needs to put his 54 grandchildren through college.
Yeah, and I think it's just a thing that's going on. Like people want to.
How old is
he? If you look at the Rocky and Rambo series, like the Rocky series is now being handed off to like capable hands, and there's a serious attempt to rekindle it and put some life back into it, and that like the Creed series has a soul, and this already feels like a cash grab where Sylvester Stallone's going to look really, really fucking old for 90 minutes.
But, I mean, one could argue that the last Rambo movie, we all thought that beforehand.
Yeah, but then he shredded like 85 people in like 60 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's going to happen in this one as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the thing is, they can't make people as evil as they made the whatever they were in the last movie.
I don't even know. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, if you remember the last time we talked about this, somebody commented about the whole dumping people in acid thing and the cartels. So, like, I don't know.
Well,
but if he's in Montana, or I guess if it's Rambo,
Arizona,
if it's Rambo against the cartels, I'm down. If something happens and they're like, John, we need you to go and get these dumb hipsters out of like Warz.
Oh, you mean missionaries? That was very different than hipsters.
Well, have you heard that in that region of the world that movie is used as rebellion propaganda?
Oh, I completely understand. Exactly.
Yeah. That movie means a lot over there. It was Burma.
Yes.
Yeah, Burma.
And it was actually just after they changed the name of their country because they had a rebellion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. At least this time it'll be justified if John Rambo is doing some down-home country stuff, because in the beginning of the last Rambo film where he's like a snake wrangler and a blacksmith, it was a little bit confusing. Like, how did one get to this point?
Because he's living in the jungle because he's the ultimate case of PTSD.
Yeah,
and he makes a goddamn machete.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'll tell you, but like and Millennium is the same studio that pumped out all 3 Expendables films, and only one of them is really good.
Yeah,
2 is great.
I've only seen 1.
Jean-Claude Van Damme's death is great. The rest of that movie...
No, that movie is enjoyable schlock. And it's self-aware. Jean-Claude Van Damme is playing a villain named Villain. Come on.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, those
I wasn't
movies are the most.
by it. So.
Those movies are the most satirical thing ever created.
Well, the first movie was way too serious, and it wasn't as exciting as people thought it was going to be. So the second one overcompensates to the point where the movie is funny because it's so fucking violent and over the top. And then Chuck Norris walks in and tells a Chuck Norris joke. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I didn't like that part, though.
Is the second one the one where Bruce Willis wanted to say his line and Arnold was like, fuck him, I'll say it? I can't remember what it was. He can't get the words out, and I think Schwarzenegger steals it from him. No, well, that's in the real world, he refused to say it.
Yeah.
And Arnold was like, well, you're a prick, so I'll just say it because I don't give a fuck. Yeah, and then someone to Arnold says, I'll cover you, stay here, I'll be back. And then Arnold looks at the camera and goes, that sounds familiar. It's fun. It's a bunch of old dudes fucking shooting up just nonsensical video game villains. Yeah, it's. Well, at some point, Chuck Norris just walks through a room and starts firing an automatic shotgun into the horizon, and people just drop dead. This is the series that brought back Dolph Lundgren from death. Yeah, and he's arguably the best part of all of those movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
And without that, we wouldn't have him on Arrow.
He is my favorite line. My favorite line in the first movie is when he walks into the villain's office and goes, "Nice bird."
Oh, hey, some real quick breaking news. Apparently, the Avengers 4 title was almost leaked on Fallon, and they actually beeped it out. It was Mark Ruffalo was the guest.
Oh my god! Because they didn't have Cumberbatch on there to choke him out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, then
He's
have
the only
Cumberbatch-
one that can control himself because he's so British.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Have you guys seen that video
Although,
where
anyways.
he's with?
Actually, real quick, that wouldn't make any sense because it would have been on the internet within 5 seconds after
Yeah.
No,
he said
they
it. So.
it was they did it on purpose.
Okay.
Are you in a hostel getting
I'm
like?
gonna fucking murder somebody.
There's a I don't know if anybody's seen it, but there's a video of the cast. Like, it's Sebastian Stan, the guy who plays M'Baku, whose name I forget.
Duke.
Yeah, Anthony Mackie, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Tom Holland all get a toy Infinity Gauntlet, and Mackie takes that thing, and it just becomes one with his arm. To the point where he's integrating it into the conversation and pointing at people with it and scratching his head. And then Holland goes to spoil something else, and Cumberbatch sticks the glove in his face, and he just goes, "He bit my glove." Good God.
I'm gonna fucking kill somebody.
I don't know if you're gonna have to. I think someone's already getting killed.
Yeah, you might get their bodies.
Apparently,
Okay.
this is what
And,
happens.
Real quick, while we were talking about Marvel for a second, there was a rumor floating around that the title of the next Avengers film is Avengers Annihilation, which would make sense based on their prior plans to have all the stuff going into Phase 4, is it? Yeah, be all cosmic, but that was before they fired James Gunn, so we'll see what happens.
I would say
Yeah.
that, but after their announcement of Eternals, that makes me think they're still going to be
Yeah, good point.
Like, they might have someone on tap that is, as of yet, unknown, that they might blow everybody's minds with.
And I'm trying to remember, the big bad of Annihilation was Thanos, wasn't it?
No, it was a Nihilist.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And
But didn't Thanos, wasn't he involved
he was
in
a
Annihilation?
big part of it, but he got murked by Drax in it, so...
Yeah, he fulfilled his destiny.
Yep.
Didn't,
I can't wait for Thanos to chokeslam Drax onto a pile of rusted metal, and then Batista never shows up in a Disney movie ever again.
And you just see him giving the finger while he's disappearing.
Yeah, he just,
I would love Disney to be very self-aware and have Ryan Wilson be the figurehead for the Marvel cosmic universe going forward.
Oh,
No, I've
that'd be
not to
great.
dwell on it because we're actually running on time. I've heard people theorize that they're going to off the Guardians in this movie permanently, which I think would be one. It's not going to happen. Two,
Bad for business.
God, that would be funny looking because it's the most transparent corporate move.
there's no way they would get rid of
Pratt
there's
or Zoe
Rocket.
Saldana. Yeah.
or Rocket. Like, I feel like Rocket and Groot and those two are untouchable.
Yeah,
the rest they can kill.
The people theorizing this are the ones who don't realize that they just opened like a whole Guardians of the Galaxy wing at fucking Disney or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So
Because the thing is, the whole point of the Guardians is that they can rotate in and out.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that's our show.
Yeah. I definitely the Nile is on here, but that was just because I want to be like, they're actually doing that.
I'm just I think I'm just glad Armie Hamme is getting work.
Yes.
I agree, and if they build a cast that is as crazy as that Murder on the Orient Express movie, I'm in.
Yes.
Because it's a sequel to that movie, which if you haven't seen it, the cast is fucking insane.
That movie is great. And
it is.
And
yeah.
Hercule has an awesome mustache holder that he sleeps with. Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's really good. But yeah, I don't know. That's the only reason I had on here. Like, wait, they're actually doing a sequel? People saw that enough to warrant one? So,
no, if you guys haven't seen Murder on the Orient Express, you really should.
I really want to. That movie actually sold me in the first trailer because they just kept saying names. I was like, okay, slow down. Oh my god.
And Kenneth Branagh is just destroying scenery. He's so good. He's so good.
That whole ensemble is good. Like, if you want to see Daisy Ridley not doing Star Wars stuff and show that she's a really, really, really good actress,
isn't it even what's his name from Stupid Frozen that plays the snowman? Isn't that
yes,
right?
Josh Gad.
And he's
Josh
great.
Gad.
Josh Gad is great. Fucking who else?
I don't remember him from his movies, but the guy was the star of Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's.
Oh shit.
But he's
the original
he's got
cast.
serious chops, man.
Yeah, he was the original lead of Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll see it. I still need to see Murder in the Orient, but yeah, I'll get to it.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Do your roommates have anything they want to add, Arlen?
Go away! I like how I live with fucking nearly 10 quadrupedal animals, and we never hear from them from the show.
No, you don't.
You've heard from my one dog more than any other animal on this show.
There's been more fireworks on this show.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, Alan was the one who had him going off last time. Okay, but hey, that's the show. I've been Connor McGraw. So this month's movie dumpster is Trick or Trash. We have our logo out. It's very strange to see my face on something official, especially when someone draws it. Although I keep staring at it and go, "Wow, my hairline looks like shit," and then I'm going, "Oh no, it's just covered in garbage. It's fine." We're American Werewolf in Paris is out next. Crocodile Hunter just came out, and then we're doing Idle Hands. And then I think my pick might be Trick or Treat.
Ooh. Awesome.
Yeah.
That movie is so good.
Yeah.
I do love
Oh my god, that is... Oh, that movie.
Oh, wait, so are you switching to movies that you guys like for this month? Is that
our theme months, we open up the pool a little bit. I think at the end of the year, we'll also be doing stuff that we really, really like. But, like, here's the thing. Joe hasn't made his pick yet. And... usually after a few good movies, after we feel really good, Joe goes into his fucking stone vault and he brings out something that's really painful. So, wait for that.
Yeah. Lost Horror Pod comes out once a week. The episode that just came out today is Slashers. It's part of our October horror education of Eric Sayor. Last week we did Horror versus Thriller featuring Connor. Next week, our top 5 horror movies lists featuring Eric Fedorchak will be coming out. So look forward to that.
Alan?
When am I coming back on the show? I haven't been on in ages.
Whenever you decide that you want to come back on, I could always use an engineer. So yeah.
Alan, do you have any plugs?
Yeah, 2 weeks from now, Los Horrors Games launches, bitches.
You were sitting on that all night, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
Anything else?
All right.
Oh wait, Hunter's not here, so real quick, Monster Mash.
Don't follow him anywhere.
Coming out.
Yeah.
Don't follow him anywhere.
Yeah, fuck you.
Monster Mash comes out once a week. Or not once a week, once a month. It's definitely not happening once a week. We do not have the time for that. But no, once a month coming out. First episode drops on Halloween. Preview episode also featuring Connor comes out the Friday before. So yeah, go look for that. RSS feeds coming soon.
All right.
Also, before I was cut off.
God.
Alan, we can't tell when you're done or not.
No, because I was in the middle. I was about to say something, and then you cut me off.
Alan, sometimes
I thought
you remind me of the sloth from Zootopia.
Alan, sometimes we think that you're done talking. Okay?
Because I'm forming the words in my mind to...
I can do the Smallville stuff.
Okay.
You take care of the Smallville stuff, I'll take care of Los Horror Games.
Yes.
Tag team.
Right. That's
we should have about 5 posts going up. I've written 3 myself. And hopefully the episode 0 of Los Horror Games podcast. So all we need is an RSS feed, and we're good. That is all.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. So I'm Lou Gonzalez. You can check out me and Alan doing Smallville Chronicles. This past week we had a little bit of comic book talk between me, Alan, and Connor Irving. And then next week is our review of the Aquaman pilot starring the star of This Is Us, Justin Hartley, Ving Rhames, Lou Diamond Phillips, and Adrian Pilecki. It's a thing. And there we have me, Alan, and Gary have other projects coming out next month, so stay tuned.
My name is Eric Fedorchak. As I said at the top of the show, you can find me on at Eric_Fedor on Instagram. Pictures of dogs and cats and food and comic books. I also am floating around the Phantom Zone, comic books, movies, posting things about movies that are supposed to be bad, like Venom, and then alternately posting about things that are looking awesome, like the new Spider-Man movie that's animated, Into the Spider-Verse. And since it's October, I will end with a spoopy joke. Why does having sex with a vampire not result in pregnancy?
Because
a vampire can't come inside without an invitation. Yeah.
I saw that on Facebook today, too.
I really like that. I thought it was great, and I needed to share it with the one or two other people who listen to the show.
I mean, that was the least bad thing you've ever said, so, like...
Yeah, exactly.
I'm more afraid of the bad things you say, because one of them happened.
I think Eric's hardcore fans are going to be disappointed with that.
Alan, shut up.
That's the thing. People need to understand it's a fucking bit, people. Like, I don't enjoy any of that shit, but I love the reactions you guys have when I bring it up. So,
yeah,
I will continue.
I play up my reactions, actually, like, because I'm partially dead inside.
Yeah. And I mean, if we really wanted to talk about the fact that if Venom and Pennywise got together, they're both shapeshifters.
Okay,
and
thank you.
Hey,
and we're done.
Our 90 minutes totally up.
Yep. Fuck Bryan Singer.
Yeah,
Bye.
yeah, fuck Bryan Singer and fuck X-Men Apocalypse, but mostly fuck Bryan.
Wu-Tang is for the children.
Fuck Millennium. Bye.